Good morning, everybody. I know, actually, it's just one of these, it's one of these perfect little intimate, I mean, literally one of these, well, hello, welcome. Good to see you. We are having, the experience you're having today is one of transition between the eclipse and whatever's coming next. But yeah, it's usually we have a pretty full house in here, but I think with the eclipse and with just the energies that people are moving around and you know, one thing I have noticed, and I just want to welcome this, is, and we keep talking about it, but as these energies are coming onto the planet and the megahertz literally are getting stronger and stronger and stronger from the gamma rays coming in from the sun and the universe, it's affecting our bodies, it's affecting our brains, it's affecting the way we feel on a daily basis. And so we have a lot of people that aren't feeling really, really normal. Most people are feeling, you know, and I would, but just because I'm 55 and I'm looking at a lot of people that are in their 70s and 80s and really having some hard times physically. So we want to hold space in gratitude for everything that's occurring, for all these things that we're experiencing, because the gratitude portion of what we are entering into and I think this time frame, and hey Timothy, and what we're entering into and becoming, we have to hold knowing such gratitude. And I'll get into this in the conversation and the talk today, but there is something really greater and amazing coming that we're all preparing ourselves for. So today, I'd like to say welcome. We have a lot of people visiting from out of town, even in our small numbers here today. There's Aaron, yay. I'm glad to know that I wasn't the only one who had a hard time waking up to get here today. We've been working at the eclipse, y'all are going to have to help me. I've been working literally 48 hours straight, almost non-sleep, but off the grid. And you know, it's... Hi. Hey, Tim. Tim's been there too. Josh has been there. We've had people just everywhere helping do this because we have so many people coming into town, and this is such a big deal, not only in our country, but it's a big deal around the world. And it's just, there's a huge something transformation happening, and we all feel it and know it. But as we light the Christ candle, we show that lit. That is the representation of that Christ consciousness that we talk about every single week that flows through us, and we hold that space and we honor it. And we are just grateful to be here. And remember, whatever it is, today we are going to be talking about gratitude as we entered a few weeks ago into prayer and how important prayer was in our lives. Every thought is a prayer. Then we meditate, and then we give gratitude. And when we give gratitude, we have to give it from that place of already knowing. It has to be within us. It has to be inside us. It is inside us. And then that's where everything springs forth that we create and we manifest with the source through the light of the Christ consciousness that flows through us. If you would, our statement of truth with me. There is only one presence, one power, active in the universe and in my life. God, the good, the omnipotent. Unity of Blairsville, our vision, centered in God. We co-create a community and world that works for all. Welcome. And then we're going to do our opening prayer. We don't have a different opening prayer today, right? Me doing that? Okay. We do like to put down, when we are doing our prayer and our meditation process, how you doing, Aaron? We use a 5-step prayer process in Unity, and that starts with relaxation, meditation, concentration, realization, and the final one is gratitude. So let's close our eyes. Just take a deep, deep breath. And let's sit with the beautiful energy that came here today just to be spiritually fed. And let's also hold space for all of our friends, all of our brothers, all of our sisters that are on the road today, that are experiencing whatever they're experiencing, but we know that their spirit is with us. We know this loving group of community that we're creating here is sitting right here in these chairs with us, and we're holding space for each and every one that we know, that we meet, whether they're here, whether they're not here, wherever they may be traveling, knowing they are protected and loved and lifted up, and that a new day is coming, And we are experiencing what that day is transforming into every minute. And we are all very much aware of that. And we give such gratitude from this space. We give such gratitude to God, to all that is, and for this life that we are now co-creating with God, bringing forth our light to shine on the world, to transform the world into heaven on earth and the way it is meant to be, and so it is. Amen. Namaste, namaskar. All right, here's going to be our first song today, and then we got some kind of fun things. I'm going to introduce another artist in a few minutes when I get ready to do the meditation one. I'll wait on that a minute. So if you would stand, we're going to do our song, and feel free just to dance and get that energy moving as it gets going this morning.
We are gathering in song, welcoming the oneness, opening the doors of Spirit wide. We are walking into light, starting out together on a journey through the miracles inside. There is abundance in our fellowship. This is a place we all belong. We place our trust in this great holiness. This is the moment, come along. We are gathering in song, welcoming the oneness, opening the doors of Spirit wide. We are walking into light, starting out together on a journey through the miracles inside. There is a promise in our thankfulness. We know that when we sing, we find. We place our trust in this great holiness. This sacred space is yours and mine. We are gathering in song, welcoming the oneness, opening the doors of Spirit wide. We are walking into light, starting out together on a journey through the miracles inside. We are gathering in song, welcoming the oneness, opening the doors of Spirit wide. We are walking into light, starting out together on a journey through the miracles inside. On a journey through the miracles inside.
Now, if you don't like to get hugged or handshaked, please sit down. And if you do, welcome everybody. Have a great time. Give a hug or a handshake.
She's over here, you know, John Springer doesn't have a singing, so she's quite friends with him, so she wants to sing. John Springer goes the other year. Hey, buddy.
Oh, yeah. Okay. The camera sends you right on to it.
All right, Josh, let's start that next song. You can stand back up and sing a little bit more. We do two of these.
Everybody get up on your feet. See the light in everybody you meet. Everybody get up on your feet. See the light in everybody you meet.
Welcome,
Let
guys.
us be reminded of who we've come to be. We are love, we are one, we are one big family. Hey, 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 hey.
We just did our meet and greet. Next time, you guys on bass. Next time, hey guys. Hey, y'all meet. Yeah, I know.
Everybody get up on your feet. See the light in everybody you meet. Everybody get up on your feet. See the light in everybody you meet. Let us be reminded of who we've come to be. We are love, we are one, we are one big family. Hey, 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 yeah. Hey, hey, yeah, yeah. Let us make a joyful sound. Here we stand on holy ground. Let us make a joyful sound. Here we stand on holy ground. Let us make a joyful sound. Hey, 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 hey. Everybody get up on your feet. See the light in everybody you meet. Everybody get up on your feet. See the light in everybody you meet. Let us be reminded of who we come to be. We are love, we are one, we are one big family. Hey, 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 yeah. Hey, 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 yeah, yeah. Joyful sound, here we stand on holy ground. Let us make a joyful sound, here we stand on holy ground. Let us make a joyful sound. Hey, 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 everybody get up on your feet. See the light in everybody you meet. Hey, hey, yeah, yeah. Hey, 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 yeah, yeah.
Welcome, everybody. Thank you so much for that loving energy. That was great. You may have a seat if you'd like. But yeah, so next, what do we got, Josh? Our daily word. And we have Vivian today talking about, what is the word today?
Spirit movement.
My source. Okay, perfect. Funny how it all works together, isn't it?
Thank you. Good to be here. August the 20th, Sunday. I am never away from Spirit as I move through this life experience. How often do we put a label on ourselves and others? We should never define or limit ourselves by the many roles we are called to play as we move through our human lives. There is no end to the infinite power of creation expressing through us. Our spiritual source will never declare us to be complete. We are one through all eternity, always creating, always bringing more of our divinity into realization. We are never apart because we are one with Source, both individually and collectively. When we turn our thoughts to God and live as expressions of love, we extend the power of Spirit through every challenge we face and every choice we make. Now the Son of Man has been glorified. God has been glorified in him. John 13:31. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. Namaste. So, kind of like as last week, I have no idea what I'm going to do, but I'd like to start with 3 ohms. If everybody can get very comfortable and sit up straight. I kind of like the idea of, touching your belly, touch your belly down in your lower abdomen and just kind of watch your hand hopefully come up and down as you allow your breath to come very deep into your body and relax. Okay, so. As we relax, we allow the Holy Spirit, Kundalini, source energy, many words for it, but that beautiful, beautiful energy that flows through us. The more we relax, the more we open. The more we open, the more we have that wisdom of source flowing through us so we can hear it. The only thing we have to do is get out of the way.
Now, if you would like to say the Lord's Prayer with me in your own version, whatever that may look like to you, as we come back into the space to speak after the meditation. Our Father,
Lord of heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. Lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil.
for thine is the
kingdom,
kingdom, the power, and the glory, forever and ever. And so it is. Amen. And this, before we start the video, Aviva and the Flying Penguins, I'm going to tell you all a little bit about what's been going on the last couple of days over at the Off the Grid Festival before I do this, just to give you kind of a setting. There have been an amazing number of people show up at our Unity booth and just at that Off the Grid Festival. And I guess what I had been hoping personally is that that would certainly be an avenue to reach out to more open-minded kind of people that like the teachings of Unity and Center for Spiritual Living and just more than the New Thought type of people that might resonate with the work we do here in Unity. We're in a very conservative little town, or at least that looks that way when you drive down the road and see the gun and drugstore combined together. So it kind of gives you a feeling of that when you come into an area like this. But it doesn't mean anything other than there's just a lot of people that seem to be out there in our community that don't even know there's another option for worship or for prayer or for whatever it is on their personal journey that they're having. So what was amazing to me, I remember when the Off the Grid Festival started, my prayer was that we would be able to reach out in love and service to anyone that came around, and we would have nothing, or we would have only positive reactions. And that's the way it's been. There hasn't been anybody being negative or ugly or any of those kind of things. And because we didn't see that. That's not what we're putting out there. What we're putting out there is that we are a place calling people in that are just looking for something a little bit different, maybe something a little more progressive in their own spirituality, and a place for them to bring their families. And I'd like to thank all of you for coming. It was nice to meet some of you this weekend. So let me just tell you a few things that have happened this week in the last couple of days. We've signed 3 bands for our event, Unity and Diversity, and all of them pretty pretty well-known local artists within the region, like pretty big stuff out of Atlanta, and they were like, "We love what y'all are doing with this, with the event September 23rd." And again, that event started from us saying, what does the youth want? What does the community look like for youth? And again, what we found was there was a huge lack for safety from bullying. And these are people that would come to me, and I would go to meetings, but bullying was a huge issue in these communities. From poor kids that just couldn't dress the way other kids do on a special dress-up day, and then they get Snapchatted, and you got 50, 80 kids bullying somebody because they don't dress right. Gender identity was a big one. There's a lot of new kids coming onto the planet that don't relate to typical things that maybe generations before them did relate to as far as their own identity. And how they represent that in the world. So there's this seems to be this space, and again, it's not just that kind of stuff. It's each and every one of us are diverse in some way. We have our own thing. We are all so different. And there is such beauty in that. And that's what we're doing, is we are creating an event September 23rd to celebrate the diversity in each of us. Because each and every one of us perceive things different. We see things different. We experience things differently. But we're all children of God. And we deserve love. And we deserve truth. And we deserve to give that to each other. So that's what I'm feeling and experiencing. And I'm just so happy. I just feel like I feel like I'm shining inside because it has been such a good experience. And I think there've been maybe near 1,000 people through the doors there, and we've gotten to chat with maybe 300 or 400 of them. And that's a lot of conversations to have, and it's been really nice and beautiful, even if you're just handing out a flyer. But Aviva and the Flying Penguins are going to be at our event September 23rd, and this is a little snapshot, and then we're probably going to do a workshop. Not them, but she wanted to come back in and do a workshop with us and do a concert, house concerts and stuff. So a lot of really amazing doors. What's the reggae band that's coming? What is it? Nanny Lovejoy, they've signed with us, and they're going to be here from Atlanta. And she and I got to have a conversation about diversity here. I mean, you look around, we're a pretty white crowd in here, And I love, and I think we're all looking to expand our diversity, whatever that may look like, skin types, racial backgrounds, religions. We don't, we're not, all we're doing is saying we're holding space for God's children. So they're coming, and she and I had just the most amazing heart connection. We both started crying yesterday. We couldn't even talk to each other. But when you open your heart, beautiful people come in, and that's what's starting to happen. So let's enjoy this video and get ready to see these guys live on September 23rd.
I got a question. How you gonna change the world? Are you gonna be the change, or are you gonna wait for change to rearrange you? How you gonna change the world? Are you gonna be the change, or are you gonna wait for change to rearrange you? How you gonna change the world? Are you gonna be the change, or are you gonna wait for change to rearrange you? How you gonna change the world? Are you gonna be the change? Adjacent to a man impatiently erasing me and racing me. Are we a race that's free? Planetary times are chased with planetary changes. Are you with me when I say I see? Potentially we're here on heaven. How you gonna change the world? Are you gonna be the change, or are you gonna wait for change to rearrange you? How you gonna change the world? Are you gonna be the change, or are you gonna wait for change to rearrange you? How you gonna change the world? Are you gonna be the change, or are you gonna wait for change to rearrange you? How you gonna change the world? Are you gonna be the change? I'm feeling antsy. You glance at me, I trance away. A greeting isn't meeting, it's just fearing what you'll take away. But I love life as you live life. I honor your deepest creation in this life. I encourage you to love yourself and be yourself with the highest good. I'll find can see your glow. Let's stage a show for the universe. We're gonna sing a verse for the universe, so she can see her star, so she can see your glow with just one word, one verse. As we traverse the space, rehearsing might reverse in this version of version to light. One word. One time.
So it's going to be awesome. It is awesome already. But change, and when I brought up what we're doing, what we've been called, I feel like we are being called to do is be the change for our children. And as we put on this event, as we get ready to create it, and it is the change. It's not just talking about what the change should be. How do we make the change? How do we allow the change to come into being? And so luckily there's been people within our congregation and a lot of people I've met over the weekend as well that are bringing tools of change to what we're doing on September 23rd. And that is when kids and families walk into that event, there's going to be all these tables set up showing them that, number one, kids don't have to take on bullying. We can empower them. We can empower ourselves to realize the light of who we are and the work we're here to do, and to teach our children to be able to shine that out, therefore transforming the world they live in and an entire planet. This change we're talking about is not something we can just talk about. It's something we're actually taking action on, and we're creating space so people can actually learn. Vivian came in last week and had some little, what do you call them? Little miniatures, and we sat and we drew out our lives with these miniatures. And I was like, wow, would you do this at the event? To let youth and adults draw out their lives with the characters, these little characters. And it really told a great story. But it's through these tools that we really can begin to up the education process. And Annie, all those words ran together really funny. But ante up on our process of how we empower our kids, how we empower each other, and then how to show the new, what is the new cool? Nice is the new cool. Goodness is the new cool. And those are the things that it's time for us to teach. It's time for us to make those changes, and we are doing it. This festival this weekend is the very first festival Blairsville has ever had. Off the Grid Festival. That's scary. That's crazy, isn't it? It's the very first festival that's ever happened here. Ours will be the second one, September 23rd. So if people were walking in, they're like, I can't believe this is happening. I've lived here for 20 years, and I've lived here, and I've never seen a festival like this where there's such loving people around. And we are, y'all. We're everywhere. Loving people are everywhere, and they're ready to make the changes. And, we have people not here today because they're not feeling well. They're physically not feeling well, so we're holding space for people that are having a tougher time with this transition. I know you were talking about it. I know I've been talking about it. It's making us feel weird in the head. We have a lot of electric vibrations. I've been talking about it, but I want to continue to reinforce this because we have new people here showing up all the time. There's gamma rays coming in from the sun at over 40 megahertz now, into the hundreds and 400s, and we were brought into this planet at 7.6 megahertz. So our brains, our bodies are having to change. Some call it a DNA strand evolution within our evolution that's occurring on the planet. We are transforming into new beings. We are transforming into new higher frequency of light and energy as a part of this earth. And we are learning and remembering to honor it. And so these things are just very, very important for us to hold space with. And so in that, today's talk is about gratitude. And so I'm going to do a couple of little readings here. Can I have a little more light, John? Please. But I'd like to talk about gratitude just a minute. From Charles Fillmore, The Revealing Word. Are all y'all familiar with Charles Fillmore in the room? Charles Fillmore was the founder, he and Myrtle Fillmore, founders of Unity, and they've written books and done amazing work in the world, and this movement's been moving around for over about 120 years now. But the Revealing Word, this book takes words and gives you a metaphysical interpretation of it. Now, gratitude's kind of an easy one. Metaphysically, because it is what it is. But gratitude and thanksgiving are both necessary in demonstrating prosperity through divine law. Be grateful to God and thankful to the friends whom He uses to supply you. All metaphysicians have found by experiencing that being thankful for what they have increases their inflow. Gratitude is a great mind magnet. And when it is expressed from the spiritual standpoint, it is powerfully augmented. The saying of grace at the table has its origin in the idea of the power of increase through giving thanks. So when we're meditating and we're saying, these are things I'd like, or we're thinking a thought, which becomes our prayer, and we're saying, we're bringing this into our lives. Without gratitude, without feeling gratitude, sometimes those things don't manifest the way that we think, why is this not manifesting? Gratitude is so powerful. It is that thanksgiving. It is actually, this is a good example, and we can use Jesus here if we'd like. Let me make sure I got the right one. Yeah, do we have a grateful heart? In 3 of the scriptures referenced for this post, Jesus healed someone of leprosy, then told him to keep quiet about it, about the healing, and go to a local priest and offer a gift of God as testimony. So saying thank you to God. Don't say thank you to me. Jesus wasn't saying don't tell people I did this. In humble gratitude to God, feel that presence of your healing and feel it with all you have and give gratitude, and then it will be returned. Now, we can't use that as a tool to get what we want. It doesn't work that way. It won't work that way. We use gratitude as that expression of the soul that's within us that can feel so deeply and so strongly, and you can almost tense up and just feel it. And that's when you're feeling gratitude in love that way, amazing things happen in you and everyone else in your life. In sacrificial law, the gift was testimony as proof of cleansing or healing. Would the gift offering also be a token of praise and gratitude to God for the healing? How could one go into a local temple and offer his gifts with anything but a heart overflowing with gratitude to God? So when we come into these places, that's what we're doing. We're giving gratitude. We're giving prayer. We're doing a lot of things. But that gratitude is that, it's like that magic elixir that stirs everything else into existence. Without it, you're not going to see what you could see with it. Bottom line. So something that's been coming to me about today and this weekend and the upcoming weeks as we enter into some world changes. We've got an eclipse coming. We have the 7 of the Pentecost happening, whether you understand what that is or not, but the 7, 7, and 7 leading up to the 23rd of September, which is a big day on the planet. It's just a big day, period, on this planet. I've spoken a little bit about it, but for the, let's say, the traditional religious people, they are going to be driven in that direction because that's where their heart is. So they're driven into their own belief systems. Let's call maybe the spiritual, but SBNR, spiritual but not religious. Their spiritual work is going to drive them further into their spiritual understanding of God. The political people who are all about, sadly enough, maybe not always bringing together, but separation sometimes. It's hard when you're in, I mean, I was a political activist for years in my life. I mean, I thought I was going to be in politics. Luckily, that didn't work out for me. But you know, if you're driven to be divisive in some way, and it doesn't mean you're trying to be divisive, it means you believe in something so much that sometimes we become political activists, and it drives us in one direction or another, but we're against something sometimes. And in Unity, we teach we don't really want to be against things. Like many of the great teachers have taught us, we want to be for love, for life, for what we're creating. And we can see that a little different. We just take a spin on it, and we don't have to be against it. Because if we're against it, what's going to show up in our life? Things that make it worse. Things that bring in the resistance of which we are saying we're resisting are going to show up in our lives more and more. So we choose not to think that way because in universal law, what we put out, we get back. So pretty easy stuff to remember. So as we're holding this space, there's something transforming. And once we get through probably this eclipse, and once we get through the next couple of months, I feel like there's just going to be an upwelling of people with a higher vibrational conscious happening all over the planet and within our own communities. And it's going to show up in these rooms. It's going to show up all around us. And so now is really, and I talked about this a month ago. I said, I'm going to spend the next 60 days talking about prayer and you getting silent, me getting silent, us getting in touch with ourselves and being at one with what this is and allowing it to evolve into whatever it's becoming, whatever I'm becoming, whatever you're becoming. Because when we come through the other side of this one, you know how it is. Every time you go through a major change, right? Every time you go through a major change in your life, you're like, oh man, it's the darkest before the light. It's the darkest before the light. It's the darkest before the light. And then the light happens. And then what happens to you? It's beautiful. It's beautiful. You experience something, wow, I made it through that. And this feels so good. And I'm at a new level in my life. People, brothers and sisters of mine, of all of ours. That's what's getting ready to happen on a planetary level. We are all going through some darkness on this planet. And when this process makes it to the next evolutionary jump, which we are in, there is going to be, I just know it. It's that knowing we talk about in gratitude. So and that's why I'm going here. Because if I can already give gratitude for what I've seen because of the experiences that I've had that show me where I'm going anyway, every time, it's this or something better. Is it not? Is it not? It is this or something better every time in our lives when we're connected and we're getting clear. So whatever's happening out there in the universe with the sun, with the moon, with tribulation, as people call that, or with just a separation in timelines where some kind of ascension seems to be occurring. When this thing breaks loose of us, and I'm probably not even using the right terms here because this is even new language for me to be talking about. I feel like we are going to be catapulted into the next phase of our humanity, of loving humanity. And in that, we're doing the work. We're teaching children how to love themselves because the teachers are showing up. Good teachers with life experience and wisdom. And the young ones, the millennials, are showing up with talents. You know, guys, oh, this is so beautiful. You know, I've had this chance to sit, many of us have, had over the last few days, had the opportunity to sit with so many young people. This lady last night that was singing, if you take a little trip with me here, but I come back last night, it was late, it was maybe about 11:30, and I go to my tent, and she's sitting in the tent. We have a lantern there, it gives a light. It's a beautiful space for people to just come and sit down on the ground, and people were laying down, you know, sometimes when they got tired. But she's sitting there playing her ukulele and writing a song, and there's the other two people in her band are there. And nobody was there except I walked up and they were there, so I just sat down, and she goes, we're just writing a song. And through the work of other people, Tim and other people who, you know, and Jillian and I'd said, hey, if you have a chance to talk to that artist, I can't get to everybody, send them over. But evidently somebody talked to them, and they were sitting in our tent last night. And so I got to have this conversation about what we're doing. And when I tell people about what we're doing, how we're actually we're physically being guided to make change, they're like, I want in. I want to be a part of this. And it was beautiful. And that's how the music's happening, because we're telling a story. We are writing a story right now. Unity of Blairsville is writing its own story. And we're allowing things to come in, and we're allowing them to transform us. And as each of these people come in, we will be all transformed to the next level of who we're becoming. And that's beautiful. This or something better. This is Conversations with God. How many of you have ever read the books Conversations with God? Some of you are familiar with it. This is Neil Donald Walsh, a great teacher, a channeler of God's source, and he's been around for a long time. But what if I'm grateful to God in advance of something? This is a question that was asked, and it never shows up. That could lead to disillusionment and bitterness between you and God, right? Gratitude, and here's his answer to that. Here's what comes through him. Gratitude cannot be used as a tool with which to manipulate God. A device with which to fool the universe. Really, you think you're going to do that, right? You cannot lie to yourself. Your mind knows the truth of your thoughts. If you are saying, thank you, God, for such and such, all the while being very clear that it isn't there in your present reality. Do you hear me? You're saying thank you for something that doesn't exist yet. What we're saying here is the knowing that comes inside of you that it does exist has to be there before you give gratitude. You already know that through your experiences, through what you've done, you take a step in the past. Let's look at it. Let's go step back a little bit. In your past, you took a step not knowing if you were stepping into faith and even what faith was, but you took the step in faith, and what you hoped would happen does happen, right? What you prayed on, what you meditated on, what you hope for your family, what you hope for your life, all of a sudden it shows up. So your faith worked. And so you're like, wow, that thing called faith, that's kind of powerful. It kind of worked, but do I really still believe that? Well, the next opportunity will come and you'll take another step into faith. And that one will work too. In the beginning, it's a lesson that you're having to learn even what faith is, that this is really going to work by your prayers, by what you are being called to do. When you are called, when information comes through through the one mind, through God's source, through God mind, and then it enters you through your soul, and we're speaking the same language at that point, every little step builds our faith. Every little thing we do builds what we truly know is within inside us, and we produce more and more and greater things because our faith, our gratitude for what we know is going to happen is growing. So in consciousness, this is happening the same way. As our faith grows, as our consciousness expands, as we get deeper and deeper into the truth of what's inside us, that God that comes through us, that Jesus, that Buddha, whatever it is that you resonate with, as that grows, your strength, your power with God grows. And you manifest more and more and more powerfully with everything you think and do. And it's done through gratitude because you're already being grateful because you know it's coming. It's not a test anymore. Yeah, it may feel like a test because you're like, whoa, I'm stepping into this room and there's nothing in this room that's familiar to me. But as those things appear, as you say, what is this? And you bring that awareness comes from your subconscious into your conscious mind, it reveals itself. And then you take the next step into your awareness. You take the next step into what is occurring for not only you, but for every other person on the planet. The place of knowing is a place of intense and incredible gratitude. Place of knowing. You're already there. The gratitude's already there. It is a thankfulness in advance. Make sense? And that perhaps is the biggest key to creation. I love that. Becoming co-creators with God, which we all talk about and know. To be grateful before and for the creation. Such taking for granted is not only condoned, but encouraged. It is a sure sign of mastery. All masters know in advance that the deed has been done. So when we are sitting here talking or expressing what we want to see for our kids, we want to see them full of life so that as they grow up and become our age, they're not held back by the same old programs that held us back. That we had to work 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70 years to move through. If we can build, and we can, we must know we can. I know we can, because why else would we do this? This or something better. If this or something's better happening, that's bound to happen, right? There's no question in my mind anymore that we're going to create a better world for our children and move into a consciousness to where those children will do the next work on this planet. And we must be the ones to empower that to happen by making the changes happen right now. So in that, we give gratitude. What do we have next? I'd like to say thank you today. Thank you for holding the space here. Thank you for holding it every day. Thank you for visiting us. Thank you for holding the space for those that can't be here. And let's give gratitude knowing they are already healed and they are through this. And we are through this with whatever we're feeling that's coming through us energetically. Let's give gratitude and thanks knowing we are already in that place of healing. And we've come out the other side and we see what it is that we can't see right now. And it's beautiful and it's empowering and it's lifting us up every single day. Let's do our offertory prayer. If you would repeat with me, and we'll bring up our ushers, or usher today, however that was working. Rub our hands together. Divine love flowing through me blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. And so I'm grateful. And so it is. Thank you. John, if you'll come up here with those bags, we're going to bless that one more time. Joshua, can we have the next screen, please? And put our hands back together again. Yeah, made you work a little longer, didn't we? That's perfect. Put our hands up. Now we dedicate and consecrate these gifts of love to the will, the way, and the work of God. That's what it is. Thank you. Thank you. All right, and now I'd like to welcome our visitors. Where are you guys? Where are you from? Where do you live? Are you living here in Blairsville now? In Murphy, that's right. That's what we talked about yesterday. So we met these guys over. You're from Atlanta. That's right. I can't remember where everybody's from. You're visiting with these guys. They drug you along today. And you guys are friends of Joshua's. You've come in for the eclipse tomorrow on his new property. Joshua and his wife Carolyn and their children have a beautiful new property. Was that about 3 acres? About 3+ acres, and it's got a creek running through it. This beautiful farmland that they have, a place for some tiny homes, depending on whatever they may do with things. Campfire area. I mean, it's really quite a spectacular place they've got going on there. And this is another important thing, just to put out there to you guys. I'm aware right now about 5 people within this community who have land that are saying we'd like to build something. We'd like to provide something. And then we have other people, I'm running into other people all the time saying, I'd like to be in community and I'd like to put my tiny home or build something that's sustainable. And of course, being in that sustainable environment we're in this weekend, you begin to see these things where people begin to work together. And, let's say there's a water pump, it's like $8,000 or $9,000. Well, one community doesn't have to do that now. I think there's enough of us building to where we can start doing things together on different people's pieces of land and invest together and drill each other's wells. It's powerful, it's beautiful, and there's just so many things. So if you haven't been out there and you feel like it, this would be a great day to go out to the Off the Grid Festival once this is finished. We'll be out there. I'd love to have you come by. You just go down like you're going to Blue Ridge, and when you'll pass the school, past the university, Georgia Tech, is that what it is? Georgia? Yeah, and you'll go about 3-4 more miles down the road, take a right where the Valero station is. Is that 535? 325, take it right there, and it's right on your left-hand side. Real easy to get here, not 10 minutes from here. So it's a great space. I know I've got more announcements, but I'm gonna leave it there because they're not coming to me right now. Does anybody here? Oh, I'd like to say thank you. We just got an iPad to help us with our music and sound from the Macy's. Thank you, guys. That's going to be really powerful to what we're trying to do. So thank you for those gifts to grow our outreach and what we're doing. We're just so grateful. So we got that iPad just got fulfilled. Here's this week we have A Course in Miracles on Wednesday night with. I'm sorry, that's on Thursday. Is Wednesday? This Wednesday is.
It's the discussion group.
Is the discussion group? It is this Wednesday. Yeah. So we have a potluck prior to that at 6 o'clock. We're going to do satsang this Wednesday. Chair and floor yoga is at 9 o'clock on Sunday mornings, and our morning meditation is at 10. Next, please. Coming events, discussion group, conscious movement, Saturdays. Is that this coming?
It's the second Saturdays of the month.
Second Saturdays of the month. We had one last month, but it's just a great place, and I talked about it last week. It's a place where you can just come in. I was telling last week, you know how sometimes you're just getting the mood, or maybe it's been a while and you're just in your house and you're hanging out with your family or by yourself and you're just dancing in front of the mirror, just going, I'm just having fun with me. Or not in front of the mirror. Not naked in front of the mirror. So anyway, but you just dance with yourself and you're in gratitude for that moment and dance. And that's really what this space is. And it really was a beautiful experience last week. So if any of you ever have the chance to come and do that with us and just express yourself, you're not dancing with anybody else but you, unless you want to. So next, please. If we could do we have the track for Let There Be Peace on Earth? Okay, great. Let's circle up and time to do our peace song. We'll grab hands. If you haven't done this, we just gather into a big circle and the words are going to be on the screen. If you'd like to join us. And everybody can sing along. And thank you all for holding space for everyone that's going through whatever everyone's going through. Thank you all. This is important work we're doing. Thank you. A little louder. Perfect.
Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, a peace that was meant to be, with God as Creator, family all are we. Let us walk with each other in perfect harmony. Let peace begin with me. Let this be the moment now. With every step I take, let this be my joyous vow. To take each moment and live each moment in peace eternally. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me.
And now we say our prayer for protection, which is on the screen. The light of God surrounds me. I am the light of God. The love of God enfolds me. I am the love of God. The power of God protects me. I am the power of God. The presence of God watches over me. I am the presence of God. Wherever I am, God is, and all is well. So now we do this little song where everybody can look up and we're going to sing to each other as we leave for the day. I hope you go out and have a wonderful, wonderful day. We're not having potluck today, right?
No, but there is some coffee and cookies.
There's coffee and cookies in there, so feel free to go in and get those when we're done. And now we do this little song, and we hope you will sing with us and just walk around and greet everybody because it's a great song to leave this place with. So let's do it. What about the mic? I need it? Oh. Okay. Some of us know. We had no. You want me to sing in the mic? Is that what you're saying?
You're already mine.
I'm not used to doing that.
We hope you've enjoyed your stay. It's good to have you with us, even if it's just for the day. We hope you've enjoyed your stay. Outside the sun is shining, seems like heaven ain't far away. It's good to have you with us, even if it's just for the day.
Any of you know the Killers? That's who sings this. They're called the Killers. They're a great band. The Killers. That's good. That's right. Yeah.
We hope you've enjoyed your stay. It's good to have you with us, even if it's just for the day. We hope you've enjoyed your stay. Outside the sun is shining. Yes, it is. Seems like heaven ain't far away. It's good to have you with us, even if it's just for the day.
Hey, nice to have you here. Nice to have you here. Yes, thanks for coming out today. I hope you all enjoyed yourself.